I'd like to read the scripture together. It's found in the Old Testament by the prophet Isaiah. Page numbers are in your bulletin, so you don't have to thumb through to find it. You'll get it quick. We want to read it in unison. We're only reading 5 verses. Isaiah 2, 1 through 5. This is what Isaiah, son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. In the last days, the mountain of the Lord's temple will be established as chief among the mountains. It will be raised above the hills, and all nations will stream to it. Many peoples will come and say, "Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. He will teach us his ways, so that we may walk in his paths. And the law will go out from Zion, the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He will judge between the nations and will settle disputes for many peoples. They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will not take up sword against nation, nor will they train for war anymore. Come, O house of Jacob, let us walk in the light of the Lord." What does Advent mean? It means God is with us. That's all you need to remember about Advent. God is with us. Not just on December 1. He's with us constantly. You probably have all got offers like this. 4 nights and 3 weeks in a condo in Florida. Free. You ever got that? I have. Real estate deal. You can buy land on the west coast of Florida for $199. Come on down. You ever get that offer? And we've got jewelry at cut rate prices. Just call this number and we will tell you how you can have diamonds for pennies. Some of us get taken on that stuff. We call it hype. H-Y-P-E, hype. It gets you all excited, but there's not much there. What a letdown when you get to the area. A friend of mine went on one of those deals where 3 nights, 2 days in Florida at a condo. You had to go to these meetings, several hours of meetings to see if they could sell you the condo. There was more to it than what they told you. So you got to be aware of hype, especially at this time of the year. Debbie Toronto's into hype. You go out in the annex out back and on the chest out there, you'll see all these coupons from Penny's and all these places for Christmas, because she's all done Christmas shopping and she wants to share all these freebies with you out there. So you walk out there and see if that's hype or hope, okay? 800 years ago, that's a long time ago, before the birth of Christ, 800 years before the birth of Christ, Isaiah wrote what we read this morning. And he gave the nation of Israel hope because they had so little hope. They had so many things going against them, again and again and again. So he said, look, there will come a day, which there will, where there'll be no more wars. Can you believe that? Because all you got to do is look around our world today, and there's wars here and here and here and here. Some of them we don't even know about. He said there'll be a time when there'll be no more wars. There'll be a time when there'll be peace, and it'll be a peace that lasts forever. And they'll take their swords and melt them into plows. And they'll take all these weapons of destruction and turn them into weapons of goodness. This is what Israel was waiting to hear. They needed this kind of hope and message. We're in a season of the year calendar-wise when the days are shorter. It gets dark now around 4:30, and it's going to continue this way for the next few weeks. But you know what? Then it goes the other way, and it starts getting lighter and lighter and lighter. It's great hope that we can see again and again. Every time a baby is born, you know what it says? God says he still has hope for humanity. Every time a baby is born, God says, I have hope for humanity. How? Through this child. Through the one that just came. Wonderful, wonderful promise. You know, 80% of the children in America today, this is true, 80% of the children in America today do not know whose birthday it is on December 25. I'm not kidding you. 80%. You go around asking kids, what is Christmas? Santa Claus. And I'm not against Santa Claus. But without birth of Christ, there is no Christmas. We are down on Sunday school this morning because people are away and so on, but we're running 15 to 20 kids in our Sunday school. And I'm 100% for Sunday school. And I know that not everybody is gung-ho on it, but if our kids aren't guided in the ways of Jesus Christ and the ways of God, they've got a very dismal future. There's not a lot of hope without hope within the heart. I know I go to our Sunday school staff meetings. I'm the only man there. Thank God for women. Because if it weren't for women, then we wouldn't even have a Sunday school here. I'm not putting men down. But we are all so caught up in so many things in life, but I don't know what our priorities are at various times. I remember when I was a kid in Sunday school, it scared me to death. And sometimes teachers can do this and they're not aware of it. But there was the reading they gave us. If Jesus came to your house today, whoo! Man, oh man, and she said, if he saw you fighting with your brothers and sisters, you'd be in trouble. Well, I don't find that to be God. See, I don't find that to be God at all. And I was scared because my brothers and sisters and I used to fight and quarrel a lot, like all the rest of you did in your home. I mean, that's part of growing up. It's not all bad, and it's not all good. But I didn't believe that Jesus was going to come and hammer me. But I got thinking growing up, boy, that's bad stuff. If he came to my house and saw me the way I talked to my sister, I'd be in big trouble. That's not the way it really works at all. But, you can get this idea into kids' heads that this is who God really is, and that's not who God really is at all. It's not all hype. There's a lot of hope. And things change so fast in our lives, and it puts us in places that we never expect to be. Where do you think I was? And only 2 people in this church know where I was on Thanksgiving morning. You're going to be shocked where I was on Thanksgiving morning. I didn't share it with anybody but my guests that came for Thanksgiving because I just got home. I was in St. Elizabeth's Hospital as a patient. I went in Tuesday night. I had served Thelma and Sue communion at their home up on Furman Mill Road, and on the way home I got taken violently ill. The weather was terrible. The roads were horrible. I went up Route 20, and I didn't even know if I was going to get home on Route 20. And the further I went, the sicker I got. And I decided after I got home for a couple of hours that I needed to go to the ER. So we went to St. E's in Utica, and they did some tests, and he said, I think you better stay as a patient because I have a stone in my bile duct between my liver and my gallbladder. And this coming week we will go in and we'll have to use an instrument and go in and get the stone out. So I was there Tuesday night, Wednesday. I thought I was going to get out of there Wednesday, and you can't just leave like you come in. It's easier to get in than it is to get out. And well, you can go, but you got to see this doctor first. And I see that doctor. Well, now this. Anyways, come Thursday morning, the hospitalist came in, and I said, "Can I go home, Dr. Freiberger?" And he said, "Yes, you can." Well, I got dressed fast because I wanted to get out of there for Thanksgiving. And the nurse came in and said, "What are you dressed for?" I said, "Because I'm going home." No, she said, "This chart says you can't go home until you see the surgeon." Well, I said, "When am I going to see him?" "I don't know. He's a busy man." Well, I'd called Lewis, and Lewis had started up to get me. This is the second time he came and had to turn around and go home. And he was on his way. He got there, and I said, "Well, I can't go." And finally, the surgeon came in, and he said, "Yeah, you can go home." I said, "With contingencies?" "No." He said, "You can really go." So I got home in time for Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving Day. But, all of a sudden, it all changes. I had no plans on Tuesday to spend Thanksgiving morning in a hospital bed. But life has ways of changing what we think. So we get so caught up in the things of life. I was talking with a friend this past week who runs a business. And I said, "What'd you do over the Veterans Day weekend?" Because it was on a Monday, so we had 3 days. "Oh," she said, "I had the most wonderful Monday that you can imagine." I said, "Well, I did my Christmas shopping." She said, "I dread it. I hate it." She said, I don't know what to buy for anybody. It's a terrible chore for me to do, but I did it. Isn't that a wonderful spirit? I hate it. I didn't know what to buy, but I did it. Amazing. Our attitude, but we get so caught up. What would happen this year if you bought nobody on your list anything? What do you think the reaction would be? Think about it. If you bought nobody on your list anything, if you sent nobody a Christmas card this year, none, what do you think the reaction would be? Lewis said to me yesterday, we decorate the Evans house outside with wreaths and lights and all of that. Not going to do it this year, Lewis. We're not? No. Well, what's the neighborhood going to think? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to think. You know what? I don't care. We're not going to do it. It's not necessary to do everything every year over and over again. You have to be flexible. Maybe you can't do it this year. So what if you can't? See, the whole Spirit is not in lights or trees or presents or all the things we think. The Spirit is in hope. Hope that if I don't have tomorrow, I still have hope. Hope that if everything falls apart, I still have hope. This is what Advent is all about. Isaiah said to his people, I know everything is bleak and dreary and it looks like there's no tomorrow, but there is. I give you the word that God said there is always hope, and that hope will never die. It never goes away. It is with us through the thick and the thin, and it makes all the difference in the world as to how we react to what we're facing in the journey of life. Concluding with our values. I don't know what all of our values are, and sometimes I don't know my own. But I know if we can get in touch with our values and find out what really matters in our life, what's really important, it changes our whole outlook on how we see everything else. If our values is commercialism, if our values is finances, if our values is these things that we've got to have, then we have little value. If our value is sharing what we've been given with time and hope and love and peace and forgiveness, if that's what we give away, you've given away the world, because that's what God has given us. He said, I give unto you myself. And his self is forgiveness, love, peace, and joy. And if we will all take those four gifts and distribute them on a daily basis, wherever we are, you'll find that your whole outlook on life changes drastically. And the things that you thought had to be, and you couldn't, without them you couldn't exist, you'll find it doesn't matter, because you've got an inner peace that no matter what's going on, you're going to make it. Father, this morning, we ask in this Advent season that we so focus on your gifts, on your gift of giving yourself to us, not just on Advent, not just on Christmas, not just on Easter, not just on the 4th of July, but God, you give yourself to us daily, that we might give yourself to other people in our journey. And may we do that in thy name. Amen.